Today's a brand new day and we're going to be trying to sort out our squeaky brakes on this Aston Martin. In case you've been missing in action, this is the cheapest Aston Martin V8 Vantage that we got for close to nothing as a non-runner. But if you watched our last video, you would know there's something very interesting I found out about our cheap Aston Martin. This was an Aston Martin Vantage N400, which was a special edition V8 powered Vantage. My workshop foreman and I broke the internet when we repaired the handbrake, radiator leak and the roof without spending a cent. Who do you know has fixed an Aston Martin for 0 rands? Who do you know? Nobody. Only Mumbo Repairs and MacGyver. But our luck may have ran out.
455,000. Yes. That's crazy.
The quotation that we've gotten for the brakes is 37,000. Repairing this big crack on our windscreen, which is an eyesore. This is a beautiful car, but I want to get it back to showroom condition and also sort out our rear sagging windscreen. The seal on this will actually go bad. Let's see if we can do everything today. Let's go. I actually had an idea. If these brake pads actually have part numbers, I'm gonna try to match them with other aftermarket part suppliers, try and get brand new. Already we have a quotation from the agents. It's around 37,000, which is a lot. So if we can save money on this build, that would be a plus. So let's remove these brakes and actually see if we can try to find them much cheaper. Getting these brake pads off on this performance car was not a difficult thing. You could actually do it yourself too on your car. Let me show you how. First, I got the car on the ramp and I had to loosen the wheel nuts with a power bar first. And then use the impact wrench to try and drive the nuts out. Alright, so the front wheel is out and the discs actually are not that bad in the front. Even the pads as well. I think I would say I've got about 60% of life there, but we will remove them, try and get some new ones just so that we can have new brake pads on the car and the squeaking is gone. Let's get these brake pads off. I used a hammer and a center pin punch to carefully remove the holding pins, and I removed the anti-rattle clip to gain access to the brake pads. The back wheel is on its way out now. The front is done and out. On the back we actually have 2 sets of brake pads. We have one for the rear handbrake cable, and then we have one which is the big caliper on this side, the red one, which is for the brake system itself. On the other tires, the process was exactly the same. Looking at the brake pads over here in the back as well, the brakes are actually good as well over here in the back. So I'll remove them for you just now, just so you can see. I think maybe the make is the problem. That's why it's making so much of noise when we are braking. Our brakes are squeaky. So we're gonna take these out as well, check them out and see if we can see part numbers. So my front and rear brake pads are out, and it looks like these are aftermarket brake pads and they aren't original brake pads, which is good. The big ones are actually our front brake pads, which are these ones. If you can see clearly, we're just going to clean this up. It's actually written Brembo, so these are actually Brembo brakes. And I think that our noise is coming from the back, which are these back pads. The rear pads are not as clear as the front, so these will have to clean it with brake parts cleaner. They actually have copper slip so that they don't stick to the calipers. So we're actually going to try and have a look after cleaning if we can see what is the make of these pads. But these are also fairly new. They've got big thickness, about I'd say 80% life. I don't understand why they're making a noise. I think maybe it's the make. So I know that there are certain makes in vehicles that will make a noise, like if it's an inferior make and all of that stuff. So let's clean them up and see what we got.
Cleaning the brake pads were essential. Just look at the difference the brake parts cleaner did.
And I can actually see this make, and we have a part number as well. I can already tell you something about this make. I do regularly get a lot of clients that complain about it, about the squeaking. The squeaking on this car as well was coming from the back, so I'm pretty sure it's because of this make. So we will be replacing these brakes and then test this car again. Hopefully we can get it from our local parts supplier and get a different make, which is much better, that's also not going to make any sounds. Let's go.
Here at Mumbo Repairs, we've got the best service advisors in the industry. I left a sample with one of my service advisors and they got to work immediately. They checked for these brake pads from all of our parts suppliers to try and save us a lot of money.
So I'm currently out on a parts run for this Aston Martin. So after some thorough digging, I actually found out a couple of things about this Aston Martin. One of them being that the front brake pads are actually the same as the VW Touareg, Audi Q7, Audi RS3 and the Audi TT RS. They use the same front brake pads as the Aston Martin. So I'm actually at Goldwagen, whatever you want to pronounce it. These are the guys that I trust when it comes to VAG parts, and this was actually our sample right here, our Brembo sample that came out of the Aston Martin, and I want to show you what they gave me. So these are the brakes, super brake, that we got from Goldwagen. Exactly the same, even the slots for the breakaway sensors, which is this one right here, exactly the same. So this, my friend, is exactly the same. So this is what we're going to be putting on the Aston Martin, and hopefully we can eradicate the squeak and have a very nice driving experience with no brake shudder. Let's go.
Now it's time to put our new brake pads on.
Before we install them, we're actually going to shave down the corners just so that the corners don't hit the ridge. The ridge is not that bad on the discs, but just for precautions, shave these down, put these back on, and then test drive the car. Unfortunately, we didn't find the rear brake pads, so they also have about 80%, so we'll just file them and clean them down with brake parts cleaner, and then just hope everything works out fine.
Used a screwdriver to push the pistons back, and then placed the new pads. I then inserted the holding pins over the anti-rattle clip. The next obvious step was to connect the brake wear sensor. Now that everything is on, it's time to put on back the tire. Before the tire goes back on, cleaning your brake calipers with brake parts cleaner actually also minimizes your brakes from squeaking because there is minimized dust. After reinstalling the tire back on, I had to make sure that the lug nuts were tight. My foreman got to work on the other tires and the process was exactly the same. So far, so good.
Is this the most expensive car you've repaired a window for?
Yes.
Alright, so the windscreen guys have just arrived, and by the looks of these windscreens, I think one of them belongs to our Aston Martin. And to be fair, we actually got a lot of quotations for the windscreens, and they were very ridiculous. Some ranged up to 80,000, 100,000. I understand because of import duties and everything. Some of them were really cheap, and some of them were also just middle. Let's go see these guys, what they're up to right now.
had to do this with the roof down just to allow these guys from the windscreen company to be able to work very comfortably. It's a good thing we had this roof repaired.
Get it! More space so that they can try and work on this roof. So yeah, let's let them do their own thing, and hopefully this thing can be sealed properly and the cracked windscreen can be deleted from the Aston Martin. So we are very close from getting this Aston Martin to showroom spec. A windscreenless Aston Martin. Look at that. So we do not have a windscreen currently. The old windscreen is out. Hopefully the new windscreen can fit and be nice and snug, and we will have a Aston Martin that does not have a cracked windscreen. This is a little bit of progress. Hopefully they brought the correct size windscreen. That would be a big flop, removing the windscreen and then they've got the incorrect one. So yeah, we've just got our fingers crossed, and here it comes. Time to fit it in.
Before the new windscreen could be fitted on, it needed to be cleaned thoroughly with an alcohol solution and a bit of soap water. This would help ensure that the sealing compound sticks correctly and sticks perfectly. On the frame, a little bit of primer was put around the perimeter of the complete frame.
I'm putting the tape because the rubber is coming out to see. See, the tape is holding the rubber now.
Carefully place this new windscreen on the frame and topped up on primer to ensure a good seal. The windscreen wipers and the trims were also put back in the car. These two bits of masking tapes were used to hold the windscreen in place until the adhesive cures.
Are you happy with the job?
Yeah, we've got a working windscreen. We saved a lot of money. As opposed to paying over 90,000 for the windscreen, we got it a whole lot cheaper. So yeah, that's a win in my books. We've got a brand new windscreen on the Aston Martin. So a little bit of progress.
Out with the old and in with the new. And now all that's left is to seal the rear windscreen. But
the guys say that they will not be able to fix the back windscreen because it needs a special glue that they do not have. So no success there. We're still going to give it a try and then see.
If you know anything about this project so far, you'd know that we've came up with a lot of creative ways to cut our costs.
Fixed an Aston Martin with a hammer and an Allen key.
Exactly, a hammer and an Allen key. The first mechanic in the whole world, mama. Money saved.
Considering that the guys that fitted our windscreen weren't able to seal the rear windscreen, MacGyver and I made a plan. We found this styrofoam lying around in the workshop and thought we'd use it to hold up the rear glass from inside of the vehicle, so that we could apply this adhesive much easily. Once we got it right, my foreman and I applied this fabric adhesive contact glue to the soft top, windscreen and the tonneau cover. Now it's a waiting game. We waited and waited and waited. How fun. I tried using the heat gun to accelerate the process, which did not help. It just only made the glue more softer. Holding down the tonneau cover to the windscreen glass was a tiring event. I even felt my fingers starting to cramp up. So MacGyver and I got even more creative. We got more styrofoam, 2 bricks, covered them with a cloth and laid them on the windscreen to increase the contact between the tonneau cover and the windscreen. And then all that was left is to hope for the best.
Right, this marks the end of today. This is actually taking longer than expected to dry off. That's why we just put on some bricks and insulated them with some rags just so that it doesn't scratch the glass and the tonneau cover. So tomorrow morning we're going to check this out and see if it's nice and sealed, and then clean it off so that it looks presentable. Right. Today is a brand new day. I've got my Boermakaplan uniform, so I hope we were also able to make a plan on the Aston Martin. So today's a brand new day. Let's go check out if our plan worked. Today we actually left the bricks on the tonneau cover glass just so that it could seal overnight properly, and it does feel a little bit tight and hard. I just hope our plan worked. So let's remove these and see how goes it. Alright, so far so good. It looks like our glass is stuck on there tight. The glue feels very hard. This is fabric glue again, so we're just gonna remove this material right here. I think it's polyester or whatever it's called. We're gonna remove this and see if the glass floats. Once the glass is floating, the last thing that's gonna be done is just clean up. So we've got chemicals to clean all of this glue up, just so that it's nice and tidy and everything looks good. Looks like our fabric glue actually did a really good job, and the glass is actually stuck on properly. We actually also did a pressure test, putting some pressure on the glass, and it is just absolutely stuck.
It's no professional detail, but the boys and I really made this car shine. And now we're one step closer to getting this Aston Martin into showroom condition.
Alright, so we just cleaned this car up just so that we could have a clear view of the glue and everything. But I think I'm just going to leave it to the professionals, and we actually have a detailing company that wanted to give us a full restoration on this car, including ceramic coating on the car. So we're just going to leave everything to them. We're going to leave the back windscreen as it is, and on the next video you're going to be seeing the full detail on this car. For now, we are busy preparing to go to an exotic car auction. Alright, so today we're at the Iron Lions exotic car auction, and hopefully we can shoot some cool cars and some cool content. I got my squad with me, I got my brother, and I got my MacGyver. Let's go. There are some really cool cars over here. This is a big block Chevy. Look at this thing. The attention to detail is something you cannot even fathom. So much chrome in there. So nice. So over here, this has to be my favorite one that they have on auction. A Nissan GTR. Have a look at this thing.
Seeing the prices that some of these cars were going for makes me realize what a steal the Aston Martin was, especially being a limited edition.
This is your time to shine.
I'm pro. I just got a notification that you're started alive. 160. Crazy. 192. This is going to be the most expensive VR6 sold on auction. I told you. 240, I'm 240, 250 all day. I'm 240, 240, 250, 260. I'm 250, I'm 255. It's crazy. 255. 255, 260. I'm 255, 260, let's go. Say what you want about VWs, but South Africans love VWs. Say what you want about VWs, but South Africans really love VWs. This is true. I'm telling you.
My argument is that VWs and BMWs are always sold on so much emotional value.
Exactly.
How do you feel about that? There is the car actually worth that much.
It's how many VR6 coupes have you ever seen?
Dude,
how many VR6 coupes have you ever seen?
And I understand. Mambo does have a point. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Lucky owner.
People always talk smack about GTIs as well, but they're always buying them and they always come to my shop. This is true. South Africans love GTIs, they love VWs.
Where else do you get that?
Come on. It's crazy. It's so cheaper than a VR6. Yo.
That's a collectible.
But still.
Yeah, but that's a collectible. So you can go to the shop and get this one now. You can't go to the shop and get that one.
But yeah, that's true. I want to keep the ball rolling.
Get another project. You've got to actually get yourself deeper.
Yeah,
it needs to be harder.
That's what I want to do.
Put yourself
I want to keep the ball rolling. So holding on to it, I don't think it would make a lot of sense in terms of what I want to do.
I understand. Yeah. Keep it for like another few months. Why don't you challenge a few guys? Take it to the drags. Be like, is it faster than an 8R?
Yeah.
Challenge some of your customers. That could be sick.
Yeah.
With like,
or Mr. How much is TCR?
TCR, yeah, that could be interesting.
Chow him.
But now here's the thing. Remember, we're at altitude. So if you race them up here, you have to remember that you're losing at least 20%, 30% of your power.
Yeah.
You got to do it at the coast, bro, because that car at the coast murders at the coast.
Yeah.
Even my AMG, when I drove it up here compared to like Durban,
yeah,
Much better.
Stupid difference, bro. Like that car would actually spin its wheels first, second,
Yeah.
then into third. Up here, it doesn't even spin in first. You can just flat foot it and stay straight.
Yeah.
And your Aston will be the same. And you'll hear it, the noise that it will make with more oxygen.
The brakes were more responsive on the test drive, and the squeaking has been reduced, and the rear windscreen glass is holding up really well. Once again, we've managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat. At the end of the series, I will reveal just how much we saved and why it is not only the cheapest Aston Martin in the country, but also the cheapest repair we've ever done for a non-runner Aston Martin Vantage V8. Now, a lot of people are curious as to what are my plans with this Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Will I sell it? Will I keep it? Or will I do a giveaway?
Now we're gonna see who is the winner.
Well, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and find out what happens in the next video.